Cullen Haynes, and welcome to Live with Cullen Haynes, Law Live, episode 87. I can't believe we're at episode 87. We'll be at 100 before we know it. And my next guest does contracts by day and dance floor by night, 15 years in the legal game, and founded her own firm, Nina Rossi Solicitors in law in 2022 May. So celebrating our 4-year birthday this month. And we're going to be talking all things franchising law, how she unwinds on the dance floor, and anything else that's going on in her orbit. Could you please make very welcome the principal solicitor, Nina Rossi of Rossi Law Solicitors. Welcome, Nina.
Hello.
Can you hear us? Can you see us? How is life in your circle of influence? What's the latest?
Well, this month I actually was just looking at the numbers. This is the busiest month yet for the 4 years. So, hey, yay. And this month has been just a bit of everything and anything. And the last minute settlement on Monday of a business purchase and whatever have you. So it's all hands on deck this month. And thankfully I do have an intern at the moment, which is very helpful. And then
Fantastic.
The dance reels are going as well on the other side of the fence.
I love the dance reels. And let me tell you, if you're not connected with Nina on LinkedIn and Instagram, you are missing out because some of these reels are fantastic. They brighten my day. And I'd love to ask you, what is happening in your world in a nutshell at Rossi Law Solicitors and in the dance world? What's going on?
So at Rossi Law, as I've just mentioned, we've been having interns of late, which is great news. And one has just come from Italy. He's been here for the last 3 months. He's about to leave, and we'll probably look at getting another one very, very soon. Let's be honest. So that's on one front. Otherwise, as I said, busiest month I would say in the 4 years. And yes, in the dancing space, I'm mostly doing the samba, but I do other styles of dance, just more on a social level.
Very cool.
Yeah. Just as I said, posting a bunch of new content, and also trying to, because that is coming up later this year, a little bit less about dancing, but I'm going to be putting out some singing demos. So that's another little thing that I'm doing right now.
Fantastic. And it's a nice little segue, not keeping up the fun, upbeat nature of this episode 87 with you. How would you describe your life using just film titles?
Right. So I always I guess it was an influence for me. I was always a Legally Blonde type.
Oh, classic.
Yeah. I have been told as well in the past that I did have a resemblance to Reese Witherspoon. I'm not sure how true or not, but hey, we'll go with it.
We'll go with it. I object. Very good. What a show. Absolutely. Elle Woods. So Legally Blonde we'll go with. And look, going back.
Although I did love the Ally McBeal in the day too, I will say.
How good was that show? My goodness. If you're old enough to know who that is, back in the 90s. Look, you founded Rossi Law after 12 years across commercial law, franchising, litigation, IP. What was the moment you knew it was your time to back yourself and go out on your own? Because we get a lot of lawyers watching the show and business people wanting to know when that right time is.
Look, I wouldn't have. Basically, the time was just that I had a feeling in myself that I am tired of doing the commute, being there till whatever hour that someone else decides, etc.
Yes.
And so even if it wasn't the most convenient timing, I was just like, you know what? People have been telling me for this for years. Okay, fine.
Do it. But like, you work across a lot of different law, business law, franchising, IP, dispute. So that is a broad church. Is there any thread that connects it all for you, or did it evolve kind of organically?
Well, it evolved basically based on the different roles I had over the years.
Yes.
But I started in IP. That was my first point of area of law. All the way back to IP Australia at one point, and then moving into an IP practice in Surrey Hills. And then from there, adding litigation, adding commercial, then just before COVID for about 4 years doing franchising, and here we are. And then since the business, I've now also added notary.
Wow. Just for giggles, we've added it as well. So you're adding value to everyone there. I love that. I love that.
Yes.
But dive in and deeper, like franchising law in particular is a niche that most lawyers avoid. What drew you to it, and why do most business owners consistently get this wrong before they even pick up a phone to a lawyer? So yeah, love to deep dive into that, unpack that, as my dear friend Jerome from the Lawyers Weekly would say.
Sure. So franchising, well, I ended up getting work with a business that was combining legal with franchise consulting. And
Okay.
so hence I came in from the legal side, obviously, but that gave me a lot of exposure, insight into the franchisor side of the fence.
Yes.
And yeah, like, in reality, it's just, and that in itself brings in a combination of different elements in, like, because you have the actual franchise documentation, but then there's business purchases and sales and leases and whatever else. Because of the consulting business, you just literally get asked, hey, what about this? Hey, what about that? Oh, can you? And the clients, as you would know, they want to do as much of it as possible, a one-stop shop.
Of course.
Yes, continue, sorry.
No, I was going to say, like, so when someone buys or enters a franchise, what does good legal advice look like at that stage? And where do things typically go awry or the wheels fall off?
Yeah, so if you're looking at setting up a franchise program, obviously one of the things that a lot of people are trying to cut corners on is cost, because they're trying to limit how much they're spending to set it up.
Okay.
But I would say that's just asking for later problems. And what is a bit of a headache, of course, is detailing all of your costs and expenditures so that other people can replicate your business.
I see.
And many have not gone down that path to actually analyze all the aspects of their business and what it actually overall takes to run it. Then on the franchisee side, or someone coming into a franchise, look, one of the things a lot of people don't want to do, they don't want to read papers. They don't want to read documents. And now they try and rely on AI to read the documents, which then ultimately, that in combination with trying to limit their costs again and not getting the advice, they might jump into something in the wrong place with too much cost or whatever that they just can't manage. And then, yeah, it's just the expectations around, hey, this means you're going to be doing X, Y, Z for the next however long. Because many also want to run a business without actually being there.
Good. Well said. Well said. And switching gears a little bit, IP law, intellectual property, is becoming a battleground, especially with AI, content creation, and fast-moving brands. What are the most common IP mistakes you are seeing from businesses right now?
So, I mean, as a starting point, many don't even consider or have a look on the internet or do a search when they're actually choosing a name to start with, if we're talking about trademarks. And same with other, like, different technology developments, etc. They might not do enough homework. And then someone bigger than them is going to go,
excuse me.
And then, yeah, with the AI, you've now got this thing of, and this is playing out a lot more in the US right now, but in the creative spaces, but there's a lot of AI tools out there that are purely ripping off existing creative works and just using them, amending them, and essentially the platform is having waivers that they're not responsible whatsoever. And so you're stuck with something that there might be a big argument around. If you're the one developing that product based from an AI product,
Yeah, very interesting. Something to think about, worth bearing in mind. And look, giving you some accolades, you were recently named Female Financial Professional of the Year back in 2025 last year. What does that recognition mean to you? And what do you think it says about the space women are carving out in both law and finance?
Well, obviously, I'm very honoured. But yes, I think it just
I'd like to
shows that
thank my agent, thank everyone.
it just shows that women. It's not just a boys' game,
Yes,
especially the finance, but
absolutely.
even legal to a large extent. But yeah, I mean, and there is definitely a market there because I work with a lot of women who really are out there looking for other women to work with
Yeah.
and to help them. And there's just that level of, I feel more comfortable, feel more respected, understood. And that's the part that I like to deliver.
Good on you. Good on you, Nina. And you're already doing that in spades. Look, and you work with a lot of clients from diverse cultural backgrounds across Sydney, Newcastle, and beyond. How does cultural awareness change the way you practice law in particular?
Yes. So for me and how I work, it's definitely important because it gives you an understanding of not only how to work with other people, but also how to
Yes.
understand them and then
Yes.
understand how they are communicating to you. Because
Yes.
half the battle with legal, as many will know, is half the battle is understanding what someone wants.
Yes.
And so you can give them something that sort of aligns with what they're interested in, because they may not necessarily always communicate that in the best way.
No.
Even and this is like regardless of language. We're not even talking about language differences
No.
or anything.
No, no. Harry Cormack, who we've had on the show in the past, once said, the Spice Girls principle. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. And I think that to that point, what you said, a client will say, I want ABC. It's our duty to tell them, hey, look, you may want ABC, but it's probably XYZ that is going to get you a better outcome. And it's those professionals like yourself who make that distinction that excel and build value and repeat business. It's if you're just doing what the client is telling you and not thinking about it, I think that's where people can get themselves into trouble, and you're not doing a great service. So yeah, I'm glad you said that,
100%.
Nina.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it comes in, and it adds to the strategy that you ultimately work out for them or help them with.
Correct. And on that note of what good commercial legal advice looks like, what does it look like when everything's running the way it should in a matter that you're running?
Yeah, well, when everything's running smoothly, it basically means that we get the information we need, we go and work on it, and then we can give you a product that's pretty much 80-90% ready. You just have to
Yes,
look at it, check it, and go, great, thank you, see you later.
I love that.
and
I love that.
and then you would hopefully then not deal with them at a later stage in where there's like a follow-up dispute or argument or issue, etc. Because hopefully, if you've also then given them enough guidance through that process to also say, hey, this is how it works, this
Yes.
is what you're implementing as a process, then yeah. And I think that's
No.
part of the importance of I think that's quite important in regards to the legal, not just providing the legal document, but also giving the additional supporting information, etc.
Absolutely. And obviously, you are a person at the end of the day and you have many great habits, I'm sure. What's one surprising skill or habit that has made you a sharper lawyer or advisor in your career?
I think that, and others have said, I am pretty good at my sleuthing.
Oh, you're one of those sleuthers, huh? I like that. I like that.
My research skills, now that might have started right from the early days, because especially nowadays it's a little bit easier, but especially back a couple of years back with the IP stuff, especially when you're
Yes.
doing responses to exam reports and whatever, you have to scour the internet for information
Yes.
because you can't rely on the client to give you much.
Absolutely not. So you have to.
Although nowadays it's probably a little bit better because people have, you can go after the fact back on your socials and whatever and download your posts and things. But yeah.
Oh my goodness. You should have been on that documentary, Don't F with Cats. You would have given those sleuthers a run for their money, I'm sure. Um, but keeping it nice and light. You're also a dancer, as we said at the start, doing some great dance moves on Instagram and whatnot. What does dance teach you that law never could?
I think personally that dance and any creative venture really, it's going to give you a little bit more of you hone your skills on like process and how and going through moves, choreography, that sort of thing. So that sort of sharpens your
Yes.
brain. And then you've
Yes.
also got the creativeness, because that will make you think outside the box, especially if you're doing like any sort of improvisation sort of stuff.
No, amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. And is there any passion projects or things that you can share with us that you're working on right now in that creative right mind space?
Yeah. So dance wise, I am doing some things. I'm doing my classes, but we're potentially going to be doing a little bit of a performance at next month in Marrickville for the Festa Junina.
Shout out to Marrickville.
For the Brazilian, like, there's a Brazilian festival in June called Festa Junina, so we might be doing something with that. And yeah, as I mentioned, I've been working on some singing demos, so I've got a little profile up already. But as soon as it's all ready, hopefully in the next couple of months, I'll be releasing those. So yeah, a few things going.
I've been seeing some karaoke videos from Marrickville somewhere on the Instagrams coming out. I like that. So can you
yes, that came out today. I was quite surprised they found me after, what is it, almost 6 months or whatever it was.
I love that. I think that's so cool. So we'll have to keep an eye out and look at that Brazilian festival next month. I think that's going to be fantastic. Bringing it back to law a little bit, where do you see business and commercial law in the next 10 years, especially with the rise of AI, particularly for small and growing businesses? What do you reckon as we get towards the end of the stream there, Nina?
Yeah. I mean, look, I think a lot of people right now, they're still early stage with using the AI, but I think that generally a lot of people will want to rely on it. I would caution a little bit on relying on it too heavily right now, because it's often wrong. But
yes, it hallucinates. It quotes things that you didn't say. Case in point.
yes. But yeah, I think obviously that will become a factor. And I think it's just that business is going to have to implement the right systems and processes to make sure that they actually check what's being sent out. And that's where, even with the initial documentation stage, I think that's where lawyers still have value and be able to, and just generally, it might end up being too overwhelming. So they may end up just getting lawyers to look at some of this stuff anyway. I know it's probably not the most cost effective, but anyway, so otherwise, I think there'll still be, the legal game will still definitely be happening. I think there'll just be greater expectation to be quicker, which is already the case to an extent, but like quicker outputs. And I think even lawyers, we're going to have to find the right tools that are safe for use so that we can meet the client expectations, which I think are only going to increase. And if we want to justify our fees, I think, we'll just have to show more of that value, which is outside of just the output.
Very well said. I'm picking up what you're putting down there, Nina. And obviously, we stand on the shoulders of giants. We don't come into this world ready-made. Who have been some influential mentors in your life and why?
Yeah, so in terms of legal, I would probably say it was the boss I had at my original firm in Surrey Hills.
Yeah.
She was a bit of a fashion queen. She was a bit of an icon. And probably I mean, I know she definitely influenced my fashion sense.
Fashion, darling.
But even on a legal front, yes, I feel like that was a very influential way in my own style and how I operate as well.
Shout out to your old boss there if they're watching, wherever you are, here or beyond. I'm sure that they're touched by that there, Nina. Lessons for young lawyers considering a career in commercial or franchise law. What would you say to them if they're tuning in or re-listening or re-watching now?
Yep. Well, I would say it's not just all about the big firms, although if that's what you want to do.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Obviously, it's not the easiest path. It will take some time. But yeah, if that's your passion and your love, then there's definitely always people out there. And I think it's really just you need to have the mindset really of you want to help people. You don't just want to fight the fights after the fact.
Good
But
point.
that's my approach as well.
Good point. Good point. And we got some bonus questions for you after, but like the final question of today, and really appreciate all your candid insights there, Nina. When all is said and done, when you shuffle off this mortal coil like we all will, how would you one day like to be remembered?
So as many have commented to me over the years, generally I would say the non-lawyer lawyer.
The non-lawyer lawyer.
As in, I don't
that.
come across like a lawyer.
No, absolutely.
So
You're
yeah,
quite
I'm happy to be
vivacious,
remembered in that
quite
way.
energetic. You dance. I don't know many other lawyers who dance and go through life and have that approach to life. I think that's fantastic.
I think I know one or two others in the salsa scene, but yes.
No, it's fantastic. Well, keep shining bright. Keep doing what you're doing. Where are you hanging out the most? Where can people find you? And what's the date of this festival that they can see you dance at, Nina?
So the festival, the tickets are out now. It'll be at the Brazilian Cultural Centre at Marrickville on the 21st of June.
Perfect.
Put that out there. Otherwise, if I'm not there for class, I might be at my office, obviously.
You've got to be there doing some work there. Come on.
If the weather's good, the beach.
Absolutely.
Preferably north side because you can park better.
Good point. Good point. and Instagram or LinkedIn, where are you most chatty? If people want to grab a coffee or
look, I'm across pretty much all platforms: LinkedIn, Insta, Facebook, you name it, really. I even have a TikTok, but it's kind of a side thing.
No, same with me. You just put the content on there, see how it goes. Look, we have been speaking to Nina Rossi, Rossi Law Solicitors, the lawyer who moves to her own beat. Thank you for being here for episode 87. There, Nina, we'll bring you back for some bonus questions. It's been fantastic.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nina. And if you are a legend of law or know someone who is and you'd like to be on the LawLive for Lawyers show, live with Cullen Haynes, or if you're an accountant and want to be on our Ledger Legends or a general professional on the Live with Cullen Haynes show, we come out every Wednesday, and I really appreciate you supporting the show, getting on the Apple or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts and giving us a cheeky like and subscribe. Bye for now, everyone. Have a great Wednesday and make it count. Bringing back Nina, if you could describe how you work and what you do to my 3-year-old child, Benji, how would you go about telling my son what you do there, Nina?
I would probably say I help people when they want to work on a new business project or whether they need help with an argument with somebody, or even if they're just trying to put some papers together so that that things are in writing so that everyone understands what everyone's doing and that we don't end up in an argument.
I love that. Very simple. He'd understand that. He'd have no questions, I'm sure. How would your clients describe you when you're not in the room?
Well, I know one client he generally says this to most people. He generally calls me the tough Italian lady. So apparently he thinks I'm a little bit scary, but I don't think that's true.
Look, it might maybe not be a bad thing. I've seen. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think most people think that I'm pretty thorough and giving like pretty understandable advice to them.
I think it's amazing. You don't come across as scary. I know many LinkedIn photos of solicitors where they're not smiling, doing the deliberate. You're actually smiling in your headshot, which I think is a good thing. And last question today, Nina, of the stream, if you could give yourself advice at any age, go back in time and see a younger version of Ms. Rossi, what age would you be when you visit yourself? And what advice would you give your younger self?
Okay. I probably would have gone back to when I'm 18.
Yes.
Or thereabouts.
So only a couple of years ago.
Actually told myself, hey, you do actually like business. You should actually study that. Don't leave it till later.
Yeah,
And you have to do a master's and everything.
good point.
Because, yes, at that age, I was like, no, business. Oh, no, 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 no. But yes, here we are.
Very well said and great advice. And I'm sure very well received as well by your younger self and everyone watching, listening, and whatnot. Thank you so much for joining today there, Nina. It's been absolutely fantastic.
Pleasure as well.
All the best, everyone. Bye for now and enjoy your Wednesday. All the best. Take care. Bye. Hey there, Cullen Haynes here, Australia's leading broker for lawyers on LinkedIn, and here's why I want to talk to you today about my book, my new book, The Laws of LinkedIn, 23 ways to find your tribe, build your following, and make 7 figures on LinkedIn. When I started this journey 7 years ago, when we built, myself and Andrew, my business partner, we built legal home loans from the ground up, the pain point for us was we were at a standing start. No one knew who we were. We had no money, we had no contacts, and basically we had to find a way to make our voice heard, talk to our tribe, the legal community, and build trust. And the only thing we had at our disposal was LinkedIn, which was and still is free. There's over 1 billion people on LinkedIn, and I wish when I started I had this book with me to guide me, because I basically distilled my 23 top leading hacks that we use to build our business to a 7+ figure, and I really want to get it out there and share it with you. So if you're